When Ellis Paul was growing up in Aroostook County, he was best known as an athlete. In 1982, he was the state high school cross-country champion. But Ellis Paul also played the trumpet and was a member of the band in both middle and high school in Presque Isle. In college, he had an injury and couldn't compete as a runner, so he turned back to music. More than 35 years later, he's still at it and has just released a new album called 55. The trumpet is long gone, long since replaced by a guitar, and Ellis Paul now has a reputation for being an exceptionally talented singer and songwriter. He says that when he first started singing and playing the guitar in college in Boston, he had no master plan, no idea of where it would take him.
It was just generally to just get some kind of hobby that felt rewarding under my fingertips and in my lungs. I didn't know that I would end up doing this. So I just spent hours and hours, instead of studying at BC, I was learning how to play and playing 3-chord songs, Neil Young songs, Bob Dylan songs, and one thing led to another, and here we are.
When did you write your first song?
It was in that year. I was probably 19. So it was, within 3 months I started writing myself and stopped doing cover songs.
At what point did you really start to get serious about it? Or maybe the right word would be, when did you really start to get ambitious about it and think, I got to work at this because this is how I would like to maybe make my living?
Fortunately for me, that was a time when Boston was becoming the center of the folk music revival in the 90s. And multiple stations were playing folk music like mine, and even commercial stations were taking it on. So I went from playing, a tiny little folk coffee house open mic with 100 people in it to being able to play to thousands of people outdoors in Boston because a big radio station was putting on the show. And
you went full-time then a little over 30 years ago. Back then, if someone had said to you, Ellis, after 3 decades, you're still going to be doing this, you're going to be a full-time musician and not going back to some day job, what would you have said?
I would say mission accomplished. Fortunately, I'm still challenged and I'm still learning, I'm still evolving. I feel like I'm getting better. I'm losing some skills in the process of getting older, but gaining other skills in the process of getting older that are valuable. And I've got this new record out, and I think it's my best.
Do you think that your writing in particular gets better as you get older? You've had more experiences, you've had more knocks, you've got more wisdom.
Yeah, I don't sing like I'm in a schoolboy choir anymore, and I've got a voice that shows 5,000 shows and all the things I've put it through. But I do feel like I can capture a moment more cleanly and more emotionally, and I'm still thrilled to write.
It was, I believe, at the end of 2020 that you started to have a condition develop in your hands. What did you notice?
Well, I have something called Dupuytren's contracture, and my hand is curling in. You can see it here as well. And I can't bend my finger back. And as a guitar player, it's completely debilitating, and I had it in both hands. I finally had surgery because I could no longer play with my left hand, which is my chording hand. And they don't like you to do both hands at the same time, so I've put off the surgery to correct this. And I'm playing flamenco style, and it's working out fine, and I don't think you'd notice my playing right now if you hadn't been told beforehand that I have it. But this hand was completely debilitating, so I had to take care of it.
What went through your head as you had to consider the prospect that you might not be able to continue to play the guitar?
It was rough. I felt like the album that I was creating could be my last album as a guitarist, and that's how I write songs, so even writing would be difficult without the guitar. And this is a disease that even after surgery frequently comes back half the time, and I expect it to because I have a pretty severe case of it. So, acceptance is the big thing. I'm just going to deal with it as it comes, and, I love music as much as anyone could imagine, so I'm just going to keep fixing it and having the surgery, going through all the PT, and, just keep on keeping on.
What kind of a kick do you still get out of stepping onto a stage in front of a live audience? What does that still feel like for you after the thousands of times that you've done it?
It's great. There's still just, if it was a cocktail, it would have just a touch of fear and anxiety in it, and then a bunch of, joy mixed in. The first 3 or 4 songs are always like, can I do this again? Am I doing it right? Have I pulled them in? And then after the 3rd or 4th song, I'm on a cloud, and the rest of the night is great.
If the genie suddenly appeared and said, Ellis, I will grant you just one musical wish, what would you ask for?
I would like to write, this might be a combination of cheating with 2 wishes, but to write a really great song that everybody knew, that everyone knew. Sort of like an American Pie or Fire and Rain or something like that. I would love to have that one song, and I don't even care if I'm the one singing it. I would like to write it, and not just for the financial benefits, because they would be great. Actually, maybe that would be the first thing that would be great about it, but just to have that, that one song in everyone's DNA, that would be great.
Just to give you an idea of his longevity and work ethic, Ellis Paul estimates he's performed about 6,000 live shows in his career. On top of that, during the pandemic, he did 400 or 500 online performances.